Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Patrick, for these kind introductions. Very, very deep. I'm very happy to be here with you, and thanks a lot to Dassault Systèmes for giving me the opportunity to present more automotive industry and basically how we are inventing the future of your car that we will be able to enjoy, and how we are basically focusing from user experience and to transform that in a real experience for you, and how complex it is. First, I will introduce Yanfeng. You heard the name. I will tell you what it is. And then we will deep dive on automotive challenges, automotive trends, what we have now. We will, of course, focus on automotive cabin. As said, this is the core of our business. And I'd like also to spend some time to talk to you about seating, which is a very important product for cars. And you will understand then the complexity of building future cabin for automotive. And then I will end my presentation with basically how I will illustrate that with what we call Experience-in-Motion, XiM25, which is a proposal to the market. First, Yanfeng. So some of you might have heard that if they are working in the automotive industry. We are a Chinese automotive supplier. And of course, we are number 1 in China, number 15th worldwide. So meaning we are working globally speaking in China, in the US, and in Europe. We are doing 16.8 billion US dollars revenues last year, with more than 57,000 employees worldwide. So we are basically here since decades and mainly working for car manufacturers. What do we do? We are focusing on interiors, which means everything you have inside your car, door panels, instrument panels, floor consoles. We do seats, from component to complete seats. We also produce passive safety, which are basically the seat belts, steering wheels, airbags you have in your seat for your safety, and electronics cockpit. Everything from ECU to software to drive all these components. And we have also some activities of exterior parts in China. What we do, we basically innovate and develop some platforms of components that we combine together to propose products and systems to the market in a very short term. I will come later about that aspect. How we do that? So I here propose you 2 dimensions. The vertical one, we don't do that by ourselves. We do that with ecosystem of suppliers. We got also some very important program to develop them. And we do that, as you see on the top of the slide, with the customer, the OEMs, so the car manufacturers. I mentioned here some of them, SAIC and Aito, who are 2 Chinese customers, as well as BMW, a Western customer. We do also work on the vertical dimensions with partners, some of them being university. Here I mentioned Tongjin and Hunan University in China, but also some research institute, CARAC, SARAI, to be able to develop what will be the next regulations, what will be the next rules for our business to be able to achieve the performance and the safety that you expect when you are having a ride in your car. The other thing I wanted to mention, also very interesting that what we do, we are not focusing only on, let's say, automotive industry. We look also to adjacent industries. We are looking also with aerospace industries like COMAC, as well as electronics industries like DJI, who is also moving to mobility, and DJI, which is well known for their drones, so more consumer electronics. So there are kind of blur borders between these industries and our mobility industries. Now let's talk about the trends and how we could understand better automotive industry. Usually we use case to define automotive important stakes. Case means connected, autonomous, shared and electrified. This is still true, but not enough to understand all the challenges we are now facing. We have now to acknowledge that we need to take care of AI, and all the presentations before me from Joel or Joss are showing you how important AI, how powerful this is in, let's say, everyday's world now. And for our industry, we also can experience that already on the road. We have agents, so working for assistants in cars. I gave you here 2 examples that's already available in China and some Western markets. With the Nomi, which is a small avatar that you can find on the Neo cars, which helps you to drive the car and have also full services in the car. And also from Chongpeng, with the Tongji software they are developing, you can have also very good services when you are driving and when you have also other activities in your car. AI is also very important for us in the automotive industry, not only on productions, we are using that since years now, but also moving to engineering and engineering processes, where we have to see how we can be more efficient in developing parts. And generative AI is also one of the domains we are exploring to do that. In the center, I put time. Time is very important for us because since many years now, we have the pressure on time to go faster. It used to be for us a question of having 4 or 5 years in front of us to develop a car. That was the traditional timing for a car manufacturer. Now, with the Chinese OEMs, Chinese car manufacturers, they can do that in 24, even some of them 12 months. And we, of course, support them to do that as Yanfeng. But understanding this is a true challenge, which is appearing now and which is a reality for all of the industry. The other thing about time, I wanted to share that with you because we were talking about technologies and new sciences, is the applications of automatic driving, autonomous driving. Today you can have NOA, which means navigation on autopilot in China for premium car. It's around 20% of usage, meaning that in the city you can let the car driving for you. Like in the US, you know that very well with Tesla, for example. Over there, we see that many brands are proposing the services, and it will go up to 60% of usage very soon by 2030, and it is reality now. The last but not least trend I wanted to share with you is personalized user experience. You have here 2 examples, one from Maestro, it's a Huawei brand, and the other from Zeekr. And both of them, you see 2 ways of having a new experience in car. On the top, you have a lounge, like you would be in your living room. The bottom one would be more a family experience. And this is very keen for the Chinese customers, meaning they want their car to be their 3rd living space. And this is reality now, and I'm sure it will come very soon in the Western market. That's some key trends I wanted to share with you for automotive industry. The other one that was also presented is sustainability. We at Yanfeng, of course, are committed to be carbon neutral by 2050. And how we do that? First of all, we got our internal research institute for non-metal material researches, and we are developing there new materials in order to be more sustainable, meaning we are looking for biosourced material or more recycled materials. This is what we do. I'm going to give you some example of products that we are developing with this institute. The other thing are about product and recyclability. And here I propose to you an example of a door panel and what we do with the used door panel, so with the waste of this kind of post-consumer and post-industrial recyclate, we can also work on that with partners, more chemical partners, with some solvent-based solutions, we can recreate a resin, a plastic resin that we can use to recreate another door panel. It's quite interesting. It's one part of the future, and I think this example is also resonating with some future speaker we have working on the sustainability. I think it's breaking that will come soon. So let's have talk about that later. What I wanted to do now is also to talk about industry. So we were now having very inspiring presentations about science, how we can go on the nanometer or picometer problems and how to solve that. I will present you here a short video about the automotive industry, where for me it's one of the unique industry where we got a very motivating pressure on 3 dimensions: the cost, the quality, and the time. I think it's maybe the the only one in all what we can do, the only one industry where we have so much pressure on these 3 dimensions on the same time. What does that mean? That means that we need to be able to produce at a very high volume the products we have to deliver to our OEMs, and also with a very high level of not only performance but quality. So let's see that short movie about how we do that for safety products.
Yanfeng strives to be the top passive safety supplier worldwide. At the beginning of the new century, Yanfeng entered passive safety field with decades of R&D and manufacturing experience in China. In 2017, a new wholly owned safety business unit was established and soon awarded top automakers certifications with independent intellectual property rights in various markets. Every year, millions of steering wheels, airbags, and retractors are intelligently produced by Yanfeng safety plants in China, Serbia, and Mexico. Automated and flexible production not only tremendously improves production efficiency, but also further ensures quality and sustainability of the production process. Leveraging Yanfeng's globally shared R&D and validation resources, almost all the regulatory required and OEM required tests can be conducted in-house, including dynamic, durability, static, NVH, and fatigue test. Relying on the unique cross-BU integration capability, increasingly safety products are being developed and mass-produced. Yanfeng promises to give customers safer and more comfortable moving experience.
Just to give you 2 figures about that, we are producing 25,000 steering wheels per day at 0 defect, just to give you the scale. So, moving ahead now and focusing about cabin. The purpose for us is to develop a new automotive cabin for the next generations, so called the Gen Z, because by 2030 they will become our future customers. When we focus on this kind of segment of customers, it's very interesting to see that they want to have connection to nature, but they want always to be connected to the cloud and to their digital device. They want to be alone and they want to be their friends. So we had to think a lot to see how we can develop something that will match their expectations, and we developed a fluid space concept car. So let's see how we did that. We worked with our industrial designers, with color, materials, and finishing experts to capture, natural colors or materials, and also with designers to have some nice sketches of future products for automotive cabin. And then, having said that, we focused on seating experience. And here, we had then 6 different kind of scenario of use case of seatings in the car. First one is about driving, so nothing new. We need to drive the car being seated. And then we move to different kind of experience. You are by yourself, or you are in a kind of comfort area, but you are in the first row, and then you can enjoy a kind of a movie theater display and watching a film. Then you can have some more breakthrough experience where we call that camping car. Basically, we are using the front seat to be used as a camping experience with outside environment, up to a resting mode where the seats are becoming a bed. That's basically the concept that the team developed. And to do so, we need then to focus on seats and to understand that seats is very important for the Chinese market. So how we develop that, we basically worked on analyzing the market, understanding what does that mean for a premium car out there. And here you have 3 examples from Xiaomi, NIO, and Aito, where you see the seats in a very unusual positions that I would call full relaxed positions in cars. And you can find that now also on the market. So we worked from market understanding, and then we did also our engineering work, a more scientific approach on what does that mean a seat. A seat is for your body, so we need to understand the human body physiological criteria. We need to understand the mechanics, the material we will use, also all the environment of the seat and the cabin and the car. And then we built a database of really physical data, let's say hard science. But the question of seat is also a question of comfort. And we have also to acknowledge that comfort is subjective. It's very difficult to capture what is comfort and to transform this subjective feeling into a quantitative data set. And that's what we do with some survey of different kind of users where we test the performance of our ideas, and then we can also collecting these data, having a very hybrid data set which are based on physics data, scientific data, let's say, and more subjective data. And with that, we are building models of comfort for seats. The result of that is what we call overseat. To do that, we also get inspirations from the NASA. And we get inspiration from the zero gravity simulation that NASA has performed in the past to understand the optimum body posture of a human being in space, which means you are 120 degrees between your torso and your leg in this kind of, let's say, resting positions. And that's the hover seat we built. And you see here a picture of it. And we didn't stop there. We had also many features in the seat that some of you would love, like massage, heating, cooling, and more than that, some vibrations and so on. This is what we developed. And of course, something which is much, much more important than that, we don't forget the safety. Because you saw that in the movie, we are doing also some different kind of tests and validations. Some of them crash tests, which are very important to ensure security for you. And based on all this research, we've been able to develop this kind of safe unit, so-called, which is a seat which embed different kind of restraint systems, all belt to seat, different kind of motors, and different kind of airbag to propose a very full protection, whatever position you will have in your seat in the car in the future. Having talked about that and the seat, now let's focus on the cabin complexity. The seat was one of the most important components of the cabin, but we need also to understand that we start from the wish of designers that are describing what different kind of user experience they want to create for a customer. And then they create scenarios and define some requirements for these scenarios. And this is with this kind of team we have, or let's say of skills we have, designers, and we need to transform that into requirements for the components that will be specifications for the engineers to build for real the different parts. So we need to align some visions of designers to specification that an engineers can work with to develop a traditional product. To do so, it's so complex, we had to use different tools, and we use 3D Experience from Dassault to do that in order to have the right connection between these user visions to requirements, specifications that engineers can work with, and of course, last but not least, is the traceability of that. Because a development of a car is not just a simple journey. We have many, many chances to build during all the development, and the traceability is also a key element of that. Talking about that, we are also having some different kind of problem we need to anticipate, and that's why we are making some model simulations. How we do that? Basically, I talked to you about here this example about the seat becoming a camping seat. What does that mean? That means that the front passenger seat will have to move, translate, to rotate, and then to make the occupant facing outside, so the nature. Sounds great, but then it looks super simple to do. You just take your chair and you rotate it. But you have to also to understand that then you will have many, many interactions with everything which is in the car. Floor console, body in white, the other seats. And to do so, it's becoming so complex, we need to have some tools to do that. That's why we are using some system model, and here this is built with Magic, in order to anticipate what movement will be possible to be done, what movement we have to block, because we would have some interactions and interference between the different components. And it's so complex that now we have to acknowledge that we enter a new era of innovation in automotive. And that's why I call real combined with virtual, because we still have to work with different kind of skills we have on board. And we need also to embark new digital skills to create the future. And that's what I illustrate with this kind of graph. So we have the industrial design, which is a more traditional way of designing, where, for example, for haptic functions, a designer will always want to touch with his fingers, where for colors, he wants to see that with his own eyes. So there will be always this kind of physical world that we need to accommodate with, to also a digital world. And here I'll give you an example of how we develop user interference, user interactions in cars, and we do that virtually. You see here the goggles, so we can develop completely virtually what would be the smartest way to touch a screen, or to make a gesture, or to use the eyes-gaze interactions. And we do that virtually. And now we need to cope the two together, and that's for me the future. And thanks to the system engineering approach, we have then these key benefits. We have then the three main benefits for me of these merging functions from the real to the virtual. First one is we have a cross-team collaboration. Second one is we can reduce development time, because you don't see that, but we are reducing significantly the number of physical prototype and physical tests. And third one is about improving the first pass performance. We avoid all the loops of iteration of design because there were something forgotten before. And these three elements, these three key benefits are for me very important, thanks to, as I said, system engineering and simulations, again, collaborations, timing, and performance. Now, let's see the result of all this work with our concept car Experience-in-Motion. Shut down. Okay. Thank you very much.
Wow, I was so amazed, I didn't know it was the end. Thank you, Patrick. This is the future. So are you working in a car industry, or are you working in the moving house industry? Because I have the impression that now cars are becoming moving living rooms. So let's start with one question maybe. With the ultra customization of the habitat, do you foresee a future where basically every driver or every habitant of the car will want to ultra decorate, ultra customize the interior, the way you do home improvement? Mm-hmm. So that's a whole new business, in fact. Are you envisioning that?
Actually, you said it's a future, you're right, but it's a very close future. I really encourage you to come to China to see that, because most of what we present will come in the coming year, some of that. So it's really now that people, when they buy a car, mainly in China for that, want that to be the extension of their home.
It's an extension.
Exactly. And then we are working with different kind of lighting as well to be able to create exactly the customization you mentioned. Wow. So that if you don't like whatever reddish environment, you can add a bluish environment. We are working on that. We're working also on different kind of functions that you can get in the car. And thanks to, you see also very huge displays. You can also have a different environment. You can have a gaming environment for kids, for example. Exactly. Or if you have to spend 1 hour waiting for your kid and then you have to run to work.
It's an office space.
It's an office space, exactly. So it will be a real bespoke environment that we are creating now.
Thank you so much. I have the message that we have already no time for questions, but thank you so much for your presentation. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you very
much, Patrick. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick.